This video is part of the AI Agents series. As a reminder, in this AI Agents series, we are building a chatbot for a hospital system. So let's go deeper into the business requirement. So imagine you are an AI engineer and your stakeholder wants to have more visibility about your data. For example, they want answers to questions about patients, visits, physicians, hospitals, and insurance payers. And they want to have answers to these questions without the need to understand SQL language or the need to analyst report or anything else. They just want to ask a question and to have an answer related to the hospital system. This is why we are building a chatbot similar to ChatGPT to answer these kind of specific questions. So let's say we already had our meeting with stakeholders and we've been provided with a list of questions that the chatbot should answer. Let's look at these kind of questions. For example, a user might ask about the current wait time in a hospital, which hospital has the shortest wait time, at which hospitals are patients complaining about billing and insurance issues, or if a hospital had complaints related to cleanliness, and so on. So here you have the list of questions that we need our chatbot to answer, and these questions are actually part of the business requirements. And from our end, we need to put in place a system that is capable to answer these kind of questions. Now, the problem that we have here is that different kind of questions can be asked by the user. The first kind of question is the one that can be answered using a SQL query. So one can just run a predefined query and just return the associated answer. But the problem here is that a stakeholder can ask a new or slightly nuanced question, so we will have to rewrite a new query, which might be so time consuming. So to avoid this, our chatbot will be able to dynamically generate accurate queries. The second kind of questions is the one where questions are more subjective and might have many acceptable answers. So a SQL query won't be able to answer this kind of questions. That's why our chatbot has to be able to read through documents, analyze them, and generates an answer suitable to the user question. And it's here where we will use a vector store that will use our documents needed to answer the user question. This is why we will need two data stores here. One that can be used by means of SQL queries, and the second one that we call vector store that can be used by means of a semantic search from the user query. So let's go directly now and take a look at our data. The dataset is actually a popular healthcare dataset from Kaggle. If you want to look at it directly on Kaggle platform, you can just click on this link, and here you have more detailed description on the dataset. But don't worry guys, we will explore it enough in this AI Agents series. And if you are not familiar with Kaggle platform, I have a video where I talk about the platform. I will put a link to the video in this video description. Now, if we look at CSV files containing the data, one of them is hospitals file. As its name indicates, it contains information about hospitals like the hospital ID, hospital name, and the hospital state. If you want to explore more the CSV file, you can convert it to a data frame this way. And here, for example, you print the shape. We have here 30 observations related to hospital, so 30 hospitals, and the three columns here are the hospital ID, hospital name, and the hospital state. If we print the 5 first lines using the head function, we have here how data in this file looks like. The second file contains information about physicians. When we find the physician ID, his name, his date of birth, his grad year, his school, and his salary. And here, if we want to inspect the data in this file, using again the head method, here is how the data looks like. We have physician name, ID, date of birth, and so on. The next file contains information about payers, where we have the payer ID and the payer name. And this file records information about the insurance companies that the hospital bills for patient visits. We don't print the table here because we have only 5 payers, which are these ones. The next file contains information about reviews. As its name indicates, it includes patient reviews about their experience at the hospital. So it includes review ID, the visit ID, the review that has been given, physician name, the hospital name, and the name of the patient who gave the review. We have 1005 reviews in total, and here is how the reviews table looks like. The last file is the visits file, which records detail about every hospital visit the company has serviced. The information that we find in this file is visit ID, patient ID, the date of admission, the room number, and other information related to the patient visits. And here, as you see here, we have almost 10,000 visits recorded in our dataset. Now, before finishing the video, let's talk about a special case where a user asks for information that is not present in the dataset. We can take wait times as an example. That might be needed by our chatbot to answer questions like what is the current wait time at a named hospital, or which hospital currently has the shortest wait time. Unfortunately, the hospital system doesn't record historical wait times, so the chatbot will need to have access to an API to get the current wait time information. And we will see how we will code these kind of functions in the next videos. Now guys, you have a good idea about the business requirements, the available data, and LangChain functionalities that we've seen in the previous videos of the series. At this point, you are ready enough to design your chatbot for this hospital system. And this is what we will see in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked the video, and don't hesitate to ask me in the comments if you have questions related to any concept about which I talked so far, and see you next time.